onto Telegraph Road. too. And they had like 15 different kinds of rye whiskey and all this. And we also wanted to get food, and the bartender's taking all our orders. And you could tell he was getting a little overwhelmed. And then
you said there were 17
There were 17 of us.
He was by himself?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, so he's trying to make and people are ordering from the craft cocktail menu, and he's like, he's got to keep all these orders. So it's taken a while to get all these drinks out, but we were all patient. We didn't really care. By the time we were getting ready to leave, I said, hey, we're going to cash out over here. And he goes, do you want
I already know.
And he said this like in an honest way, and it wasn't like fearful. It didn't look like he was fearful. Separate checks, you guys want this all together.
And it's mine. Please, God, right. Not separate checks. Please, God.
So people around me were thinking, oh, you ready to do it separately? He's, yeah, I can do it separately. And we're like, and I just looked at him and go, dude, it's cool. Put it all together in one tab.
You're nice. 17 people, yeah.
17 people, and a couple of people had already left, and so then we're starting to get. Then you have that whole game where you're trying to get cash, and you never end up with enough cash. You either end up with $100 too much or $100 too short on the tab, right? This ended up working out okay. And a little extra cash, and at the end of the night, when we're getting ready to leave, I said, here you go, and he goes, thanks. Thank you so much. But we explored this little town, and it was really kind of cool. It had an old record store there with all these vintage albums and stuff like the vintage vinyl that people go crazy about. They even had cassette tapes, 8-track tapes, one of these really kind of cool little places. And there were a bunch of antique type stores and stuff too. But that's what we did. But I imagine there's lots of people that have been in the same situation, going to a wedding out of state. You've got so much time to kill because you get in the Friday beforehand. The wedding doesn't take place until Saturday night. What do you do? What did you discover? And or what do you do when you sometimes I remember going to my cousin's wedding years ago, and I played golf that Saturday before the wedding. I had plenty of time to kill, so hey, there's a golf course nearby. Let's play. What did you do? 248-539-9797. Mark is in Brighton. Mark, 97 on the ticket. Hey, Mark.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. My story's probably similar to yours, but I want to say we were probably, I'm 62, it goes back a long time, but my friend that was getting married was probably 22, 23, so we were pretty young, and a lot of people had moved. Well, it was in Groseal, and the wedding was probably at 12, and the reception started at 6. And we're in suits and everything, so we made a pretty quick, simple decision. We went to a little dive bar, and we overindulged, for sure.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time you got to the reception, you guys were, hoisted.
We were at 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning buzz, and we were fairly young. We reverted to high school, but, after being there a couple hours, obviously people slowed down. A couple of people were not so good, but it was memorable, and we had a high school reunion in the little dive bar, so it was really great.
How did it work out by the time you guys got to the reception that night?
It was ugly. Oh, yeah, it was ugly. But like I said, if there was 20 of us, a couple were, we had to take care of them a little bit. But the rest of us, obviously, we had gotten a little older to know how to cool down a little bit. But, when we showed up, the bride was not a happy camper.
Probably not. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of humor to be seen in that case. Thanks for the call, Mark. I appreciate it.
It's always tricky what to do between a reception and a ceremony, right? Or a ceremony and reception, because
if you've got a long gap like that,
you don't want to overindulge because you're about to go get. They're not free drinks, especially if it's an open bar. You're obviously giving some kind of probably monetary gift, so it's not necessarily free, but you also get dinner and all stuff. So it depends. If you have an hour or two, you try to just do something, hold off. But if you have 3, 4, 5 hours, you got to eat and drink at some point.
I mean, in our case, good God, we had all day.
All day.
Did I have a couple of drinks? I did, but I stopped. I'm like, I'm not going to overindulge. I mean, kind of cool to get back to the house that we were staying at and maybe catch a nap before we get ready, which is a whole other nightmare. Because I'm sharing this. We ended up staying in a house that was right at where the venue was. They had bought out a couple of houses near the venue. So that's where the wedding parties would stay and stuff like that. So most of us came from out of town. So we stayed in this house. My buddy put us up there, and he's, yeah, you're cool. You're gonna be sharing a house with like 8 other people. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Well, it was 8 other people on the same floor. There were another like 8 people on the first floor. There were. We went into it thinking there were only 2 bathrooms.
Oh, 2 bathrooms?
2 bathrooms. It turned out there were 3. But one of them was in a bedroom, so it was just for this one couple that they had their own bathroom.
They had to share, didn't they?
We didn't know until the last day. We're like, oh, you guys...
They kept it a secret?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
That's selfish.
Yeah.
I know what kind of fish they are.
1, 2, 3. So we had 5 people sharing one bathroom.
Come on.
3 women and 2 guys.
They get first dibs, but after that, hey,
well, right.
Come on, use our bathroom, shower.
You know how uncomfortable you can get. You got to take care of some things, right? And you're like, what? We all kind of laughed about it. We addressed it. All right, so what are we going to do about the bathrooms?
Did they just not, they didn't say anything till the end?
We never really talked to them about it. We didn't know because we only
never
saw.
gave us the information.
Right, well, I suppose, but we're not going to walk into the room.
No, it's not on you guys. It's on them.
I suppose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm different. I would have definitely... How do they get that room, by the way? Just random luck?
Just random. I don't know.
Is this like the real world house when they go into the challenge and everyone just runs to a room? And...
I don't think that was it. I know because you were assigned rooms because each room had a number on it. So
Did they pay more?
So you're in the 1608 house and you're in room 3. Like, okay, we're in room 3. We'll go to room 3. And, the room M or whatever it was, that's the one that had the bathroom that we didn't know. And the bathroom that was there, that exists there, was nothing special.
But still, it's a bathroom.
Had a sign on it that said, please do not use the bathtub. Do not take a bath as it's still work in progress. Like it wasn't sealed properly or something. I don't know.
Don't take a bath, but
right.
shower.
Well, of course. So I would. I'm a grown ass man. I don't take baths, but showers, yeah. It was.
That's shady. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it was a little sketchy, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But have accommodated a lot of people. Frank is in Utica. Frank, welcome back to Someone the Ticket. Hey, Frank.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
So about almost 30 years now, I flew into Green Bay, my ex-wife, and we went to one of her family weddings, and it was a Friday morning we got there, and the Packers were playing an exhibition game that night against the Colts. So we ended up going and getting tickets. We asked at the hotel. There was no social media back then or anything, so we asked at the hotel, and there was one person that had left their name and number. We went and got tickets. And then to make a long story short, we ended up sharing a cab to go to the game. And there were 2 guys in there, and they gave us 2 tickets.
Wow.
So we ended up getting rid of the tickets that we bought, and we sat in that upper box area where there's only like 4 rows and saw enclosed. It was really cool.
Wow, that's actually awesome. You got to go to a Packers game before the wedding took place. That's great.
Yeah, that was Friday night. The wedding was Saturday.
That's awesome. Thanks for the call, Frank. I appreciate it. That would be a lot of fun to do. We did look into seeing if the Phillies were in town, which they were not, that we had thought of going to a game, but they weren't in town. But that would have been something cool to do, is go check out the stadium if it was an afternoon game. But yeah, what's the cool thing you got to do while at a wedding? We had some ticket texts coming to this. Buddy had a wedding on New Year's Eve 2 years ago. It didn't start until 7 o'clock, so the groomsmen went to Topgolf at 10 o'clock in the morning. Needless to say, we almost missed his wedding because we got too drunk and we woke up late. It's a problem. That's the thing. You gotta keep the genie in the bottle to an extent. Wedding in Stevens Point, Wisconsin killed time with a Point Brewery tour. The tour ends with their tasting room. We almost missed their wedding, and a couple groomsmen needed to be held up in the ceremony. That's what Sean.
Oh, I'm sure the bride-to-be was happy about that.
Whoosh. Well, I remember
Had to be held up.
Yeah. I was at a wedding years ago it was in the Kalamazoo Portage area, and the wedding party after we had pictures taken and stuff like that, we were basically waiting. Had an hour and a half or so before the wedding, before the reception took place. So they had us in this room, and the place was at a brewery. I don't think it was Bell's Brewery. It was some other brewery around there. And in the room, they had a couple of kegs of beer. And they said, yeah, have at it, whatever you want to drink. Look, we're in there for 90 minutes before we're able to get announced and then come down the aisle. That was a good time. It was quite the entrance. If you're going to put people in a room and leave them through devices and alcohol, usually it's going to be interesting. interesting result, which it was. A lot of fun.
Yeah, guys make stupid decisions when alcohol's readily
so
available.
the women folk, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they were with us. They were.
But I feel like on a wedding day, they would, be more.
Yeah. Hey, don't you guys got to check on the bride or something like that? You got something else to do? 248-539-9797. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
It's the final week of the games in Tokyo. This is your last shot for a spot on the podium with DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Right now, all new users are getting 100-to-1 odds on the United States medaling at least once this year. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook, this is the time. Place any pre-event wager of $1 to be eligible to cash $100 in free credits if America wins any medal this year. That's 100-to-1 odds on an American athlete to stand on the podium and receive gold, silver, or bronze this week. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 97.1 The Ticket when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits if America wins a medal. That's code 97.1 The Ticket for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 and over. Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions.
If you've ever hired someone to maintain your lawn, you know it can be a crapshoot. So many of these small companies are unreliable, and frankly, they don't do a very good job. You should hire Miller Landscape. They'll maintain and proactively manage all your landscape needs, from mowing and pruning to flowers, fertilization, even your sprinklers. Miller can give you that amazing backyard kitchen or patio you've always wanted. You hear Mike Valenti talk about how great they are. Go to GetMillerNow.com. That's GetMillerNow.com.
The thing about comparing rates at Progressive.com is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about comparing rates at Progressive.com. We probably don't even need the words comparing rates anymore to remind you that seasoning steaks at Progressive.com is an easy way to save on car insurance, or that swimming in trousers helps you find the lowest rate. And that's the thing about foraging for truffles. You've heard a lot of ads about standing tiptoe on a cinder block. Compare rates and sing softly to a wounded field mouse and save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Have you gotten your COVID vaccine yet? Find yours at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine or text your zip code to 438-829. That's michigan.gov/COVID vaccine or text your zip code to 438-829.
Please donate to Kroger's 3rd Annual Zero Hunger Emergency Food Drive. Over 50 police officers will be on site this Saturday from 11 till 3 collecting non-perishable food items. For participating Kroger stores, visit 971theticket.com/feedmish.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Mike McClure of National Benefit Plan. For affordable life insurance, log on to nbthealth.com.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today.
Excited about what's going on with the Lions. We listened a little bit. Dan Campbell was on with our morning show with Stoney and Jansen. With Rieger was in for Stoney. A little disappointed that Jansen didn't line up across from Rieger and line up in the pads, but I also understood it. Rieger said that Jansen was afraid, and it's true. John was afraid that he was going to kill Jeff Rieger if they had lined up across from each other in pads, because there's considerable size difference and strength difference, and it would not have gone well for Jeff had they done that. Also, good to hear TJ Lang, who is joining the station and will be part of us moving forward as he will do the sideline reporting for the Lions games, and also contribute on Mondays and Fridays. Mondays with the morning show, and then Fridays with Valeni and Rico. So that's kind of cool. I'm getting excited about football. Hearing those guys talk about football, and obvious question when asked, hey, what are you looking at the most? Both Jansen and TJ. Well, we're looking at the offensive line. Is their offensive lineman? You would expect that, but even more so because the first round pick was Penei Sewell, who's the starting right tackle right now, is at least the way it looks like. So, yeah, a lot of attention going to be paid to Penei Sewell, and very much looking forward to it. We were kind of kicking around before the show. We all know that the offensive line for the Detroit Lions is good and maybe has the potential to be great. They've got a couple of Pro Bowl players there. They got one who's thought of as maybe the best center in the game. Got a young left guard who's highly regarded at this point. And then you just took an offensive tackle, 7th pick overall, who many say is the best offensive line to come out in a couple of years. So this is exciting times. We all know the offensive line is good, but what's the next position group for the Detroit Lions that you think has potential to be good and perhaps better than it? 248-539-9797 is a telephone number. Because I can look at a couple of them and think that you can make a case for it. And I'm interested to hear what the people have to say before I give my opinion before Kane gives his opinion. So please feel free to text us or call in 248-539-9797. Let's get back to some of these calls. Tony is in Grand Blanc. Tony, welcome to 97 on the Ticket. Hey, Tom.
Hey, gentlemen. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. You were talking about, if you ever have to visit another city for a wedding. I was in Boston one time. It wasn't for a wedding. It was for a conference for my job. And I took this subway downtown. I'd done some research ahead of time. This is in the middle of the summer. The Tigers happened to be in Boston that weekend. So I get downtown, and I go to the Bull and Finch, which is the bar that Cheers is based off of.
Yep.
Have myself a burger and a brew, and then make my way over to Fenway Park. This is a couple hours later. I've got on a Tiger shirt, and I've got on my University of Michigan hat. The game sold out.
Stay in the left
So I come out, and some guy standing there, he goes, "You looking for a ticket?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you mind sitting with a bunch of Red Sox fans?" Because he saw my Tiger shirt. I said, "Not at all." He said, "First round's on me." He goes, "Here you go, face value." So I got a box seat ticket just from a fan at face value. And then, as I'm walking down Yawkey Way, I go up and get a sausage and peppers there. The vendor, he looked at me, he goes, "What are you doing in town? You from Michigan?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You go to the University of Michigan?" He saw my hat. I said, "Yes, I did." He takes one, loads it up, and hands it to me and goes, "Here, it's on me. You gave us Tom Brady. This is for you."
Even I can appreciate that as a Spartan. That's awesome, actually. That's pretty cool.
It was. It was a great time. Nice people out there. We had a lot of fun. This is like 04, 05, somewhere in there. So they just won their first Super Bowl. They were still celebrating. I think half of them were still drunk from the Patriots win.
Well, yeah, that, and I think the Red Sox were about getting ready to win a World Series themselves, so that would have been cool.
That is true. It was a great time.
All right, thanks for the call, Tony. Appreciate it. 248-539-9797. Jim is on a cell phone. Jim, welcome to 97 on the Ticket. Hey, Jim. Jim, got turn your radio off. I'll put you on hold while you do that, and we'll go to Dave in Romeo. Dave, welcome to 97 on the Ticket. Hey, Dave.
Hey, fellas, how you doing today?
Good.
I was recently calling in for the store. I'll talk to running backs as a group. I think they're young and relatively unknown, but I'm hoping that they can be a good group for the Lions this year.
Yeah, they invested a second-round pick in Swift. They go out and they sign Williams in a free agent move, and he's, by all accounts, a pretty good running back. And then they draft another one late in the draft that has a ton of upside. We don't know how good he's going to be or if he'll even make the active roster on a daily basis. But I'm encouraged by the running backs, too. I think that's one of the groups that I had in mind as being the next one that could be good.
Yeah, and then I have a story of up north. We went up north for a wedding, and me and my buddies' tuxes didn't fit, so we had to leave in the morning to go get them resized. And we went to a bar, and for some reason, they had pushed the girls over on two of those luggage carts. And on the way back, we had to cut across this golf course, and we were a few drinks in.
Uh-oh.
And when you cut across the golf course, there was this par 3 that just, was an elevated tee. And we rode those carts down the cart path probably about 50 times, just cracking up because nobody could stand the golf carts and everybody was crashing and banging and stuff like that. So it's just something to do to pass the time, but I still remember that to this day for some reason.
Yeah, time to kill. That's what you got to do. 248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Tony's on a cell phone. Tony, welcome to 97 on the ticket. Hey, Tony.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks. I was in Denver for an out-of-town wedding, and I watched the first half of the game with my daughter at a bar, at a Michigan State bar. This is the trouble with the snap, and I'm at the wedding watching the game in the back of the chapel while the bride and groom are exchanging vows. Trouble with the snap, and I'm going, no!
Oh, no, while the wedding's going on?
While the wedding's happening.
Well, that's not going to make you the most popular person there.
I was not.
How did you explain that away?
I told them I was watching the game, and they looked at me in the parking lot. Are you going to be okay? And I said, I don't know. This is a rough one.
So it's bad enough that you were actually watching the game during the wedding. You should be paying attention to the wedding, right?
Right.
It's bad enough. And you said you were in the back room. You weren't even sitting in the pew?
No, I was in the back of the chapel.
Okay, back of the chapel. Okay, so you're watching it there, and then you actually have the reaction. I'm sure everybody turns around.
A loud groan during the exchange of the vows.
Yeah, right during the. Oh my God! It couldn't have been during a hymnal or something like that. Everybody turns around and looks at you.
What happened, man?
Yeah, everybody wants to know, and you're like, "Sorry, no, you guys go ahead and get married. It's just Michigan blew it on the last play."
It's a long story. It's a long story. You don't want to hear it.
Brutal. All right, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Tony. 248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Keg, what do you think is the group for you?
I think the obvious answer is the running backs. With DeAndre Swift having such a high ceiling, we think. Jamal Williams being more than a capable running back, almost like a 1B, instead of a number 2. But I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go with just to be optimistic here, even though I don't think the Lions are going to be that good this year, not going to win many games. But my optimism says I hope it's the secondary. With Jeff Okudah coming back from an injury-plagued down year last year, some people at least, are already ready to call him a bust. I'm not one of those people. I think he can still bounce back. But living up to that number 3 overall pick, be the Jalen Ramsey of this team, cover, one side of the field, as they always say, the cliche.
Lockdown.
Yeah. But Amani was actually more than capable as a player in this league last year. He showed me he's still young and still can get better. 5th-round pick. Then you add Melanfanu, the draft pick, who's a physical corner they had this year.
Big fan of his.
I still am a fan of Tracy Walker. I don't think they used him correctly the last regime. So I think the secondary has young players that can grow into and be a strength for this team. Maybe not right away this year, but I expect Okudah to be a better player this year and Tracy Walker. But the other guys can kind of grow into it. So the year after next, they can be, a solidified group back there.
Well, if you're going to tell me that group is going to be good, then I'm very excited about the future of this team, because that's probably the group that I have the biggest question mark. Outside of the wide receivers, but I look because I agree. I think Okudah has to be better than what he was, and by all accounts, he seems like a different player right now because he's in a more comfortable place with his coaching staff and putting him in a position where he's familiar with. I happened to be watching last night. They had a Spartan game from 2017 against Penn State, where Michigan State came back at the end and kicked a winning field goal with no time left on the clock. Owarie made an interception in that game that was spectacular. Pass to, I forget which Michigan State receiver it was, maybe Felton Davis or something, towards the sideline. He goes to grab it, but he can't hang on to it. He's falling out of bounds, so kind of like tips it. Owarie is right next to him. He grabs it, somehow keeps his feet in bounds, hangs on to the ball, completes the process out of bounds. It was a phenomenal interception. It just had me remembering how good he was in college. And then you bring up Melanfanu from Syracuse, who I'm a big fan of, and I think that could be a group certainly a group I'm going to be looking at. I don't know if that's the group I would say, but I appreciate your opinion.
Well, I guess I'm being optimistic.
No, that's fine.
The one thing about that, before I let you give yours, is because the receivers, I throw them out the window because I just don't think that anyone's going to be here long term, other than St. Brown and possibly Quintez Cephas, because they're so young. The secondary as a whole is just all young players, and if they can be something, they're on rookie deals. Okudah's obviously got a bigger deal because he was 3rd overall pick, but that can be something, a strength as a whole. I don't see it. I see maybe one guy coming out of the receiving core, and if that, at best, at one guy. But that's why I'm going with the secondary as my hopeful. I'm really looking to see, because they're bigger guys, by the way. I like what they're doing with the secondary as far as physical stature, 6'1", 6'2" corners, not the little ones. But go on, sorry.
So the group, I'll get into it coming up in about 6 minutes here. But for me, it's a group that I think can make an immediate impact, and I'm hoping that's the case. We'll get into it next year. 97.1, The Ticket.
FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up new users with an epic Olympic bonus. Just place your first bet on any Olympic sport risk-free. That's right. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. So you can take Simone Biles to win the women's vault, or USA men's, or maybe better, women's basketball to win the gold. You can bet on any Olympic sport: baseball, soccer, track and field, and more. Promotions like this are just one of the reasons why you gotta love America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. It's easy to use, safe and secure. There are fast payouts. Get paid in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app with the promo code Doug and go for gold today. That's promo code Doug. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problems, call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 97.1.
You have your eye on a new home but need to sell your home first? Get the Z Guarantee, where your home is sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it.
This is Andrew Bogish with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Major League Baseball let this happen, and Rob Manfred and company inspire limited confidence as they try to fix this. Plus, we might find out that some elite pitchers aren't that elite, but if they get this right, you might get the offense you've been begging for. MLB is set to suspend pitchers 10 days with pay for using any foreign substance to improve their grip. Nothing will be allowed, not even the seemingly unavoidable mix of rosin and sunscreen. I haven't seen any research that says sticky stuff doesn't help pitchers. The only question is, how much better does it make them? Just go back to June 3rd when the first reports of this crackdown came out. Batting averages have jumped from 236 to 247 since then. That's a big jump. If that continues, you might like baseball a little more. I'm Andrew Bogish.
A child's body temperature rises 3 to 5 times faster than an adult's, and leaving a child in a hot vehicle can lead to their death very quickly. Tragically, in 2020, 24 children died of pediatric vehicular heat stroke, and many of these incidents occurred when parents or caregivers simply forgot the child was in the car. Please set yourself reminders on your cell phone or place something you'll need in the back seat so you don't forget your child. Always look for your baby before you lock. Paid for by NHTSA.
The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help with all your car care needs. Whether you're shopping for parts, accessories, or supplies, we've got you covered. Right now, get Superior Coverall Tire Shine 2 for $16. Plus, earn double O-Rewards points. Keep your car looking like new. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Every day, I think about the Michigan I'll leave my kids and grandkids. I'm Jerry Norcia, President and CEO of DTE Energy, and we're taking action now for a clean energy future. Within the next 2 years, DTE will be doubling wind and solar energy. This will power close to 1 million homes, creating cleaner, affordable energy now and for generations to come.
Learn about DTE's clean vision at DTECleanEnergy.com.
I'm Jerry Norcia, President and CEO of DTE Energy. Growing up, my family didn't have a lot. My experience taught me that true prosperity comes from serving others. I'm proud to say that's DTE's philosophy too. So we partner with hundreds of local organizations to create opportunities for people in all our communities. We believe that together, we can make Michigan a more prosperous place for everyone.
Learn more at DTEimpact.com.
The Mega Millions and Powerball
jackpots are going up. Don't wait. Get your tickets today.
The combined jackpot is $417 million. Play in store or online at MichiganLottery.com.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to 97.1 The Ticket and all the sports, news, music, and podcasts that move you.
Before I get to my position group today, I think is poised to have an impact immediately. I will get to this call from Dave on his cell phone. Dave, welcome to 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? So, special teams, I think it has a chance to be really good. If you think about the mentality of what you need to play good special teams and the mentality of the new head coach, I think it's a good mix. You can have 11 kamikazes looking for some heads.
You could. But special teams encompasses a lot of things. My concern is the kicker is completely unproven. I love the punter that we have. And the return game, as far as who's going to be returning kicks and punts, I'm not sure what to expect out of that. But your opinion on the thing is a good one in that this coach has everybody fired up and everybody wanting to play and make their mark. And I think from that standpoint, for the coverage units, I would expect the coverage units to be pretty good.
Right, you're going to have a lot of guys going out there with the leash on. And are you still taking calls on people who change your mind by any chance?
Yeah, go ahead.
Deion Sanders.
Deion.
Sanders, when he came out, basically I'm going to put Detroit, it was going to layaway deal with Detroit picking him and stuff like that. But if you look at his career and his life, he never got no law trouble, no drugs.
Right.
Basically he was an act. I don't want to say it was, just an act or didn't mean it, but it was basically self-promotion.
Yeah.
But if you get down to it, he played the game hard, and he was a pretty decent person.
So when did you come to that realization with him? It's a great take. You're right.
When he started, after he retired, actually, he got beat pretty bad against Detroit when he was with Washington at the very end. It was a game, and I started looking him up after that. Then I read about some of the stuff he had going on. And I also like the fact that now that he's a coach, he knows he has to change his deal, and he's not going to let the reporters treat him differently. I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Yeah,
but it was after he retired.
All right, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Yeah, Deion is one of those guys. I think it's a great point to bring up about him. Is that never had any trouble off the field whatsoever. Nothing. He's just a big mouth. He ran his mouth, but he backed it up because he was unbelievable. I mean, I ended up really liking Deion as a player and as a personality too. I love Deion Sanders as a personality, and he seems like he's as a self-promoter that he is. He's also seemingly kind of down to earth. All right, so my position group, the Lions, that I think is poised to make an impact right away, or at least they have the chance to, because I think it's going to be undersold a little bit. I'm looking at the defensive line, the defensive front, and I will include Trey Flowers as part of that, and also Romeo Aquara. Because you've got the three down linemen is one thing. And I think having Brockers on that defensive line helps because he's a solid veteran. You've got rookies that you can put into place that we're going to be excited about. And Wuzurike, that the team was so excited to draft him. So let's see it. Go out there and prove it. And they doubled down and took Aleem McNeil as well. But having those two bookends outside there with Flowers and Aquara, if they're healthy, they get after the quarterback, and the defensive line can be an impact position group this first year. I'm saying they can be. I'm not saying they will be. I'm saying they can be. And I'm not going to be surprised if they are. But we're saying to put it. We'll find out soon enough as they get ready for the first preseason game next week. But football is getting close. We got to see it last night, Jimmy. We got to see football last night.
I may or may not have bet on that game, just to give you an idea of how excited I am for football being right around the corner.
You took the under.
I did take the under. It was my only bet. I was feeling great the whole time. One of those easy ones. No, I'm thrilled that we've got football back. I watched more of last night than I'm proud to admit. And the way this works is, yes, once you get a couple preseason games and you start realizing, okay, I want the real deal now. But when you go through this summertime, it's like a desert, and you're just so parched, you're so thirsty, you'll take Dwayne Haskins in the second quarter dueling with Cooper Rush.
And I wanted to see it because Doug and I were both Dwayne Haskins guys coming out of college, and then obviously had some maturity issues and just was not the right guy. But maybe he's humbled enough. And I'm watching the game last night. I'm like, all right, let me see what he can do. Has he been humble enough where there's still the talent there, and can he build himself back up? Because he was waived and released. Anybody could have signed him. The Steelers did. And everybody looks at the Steelers and says, well, that's an ideal organization. They just signed this guy. So now is he going to end up blowing up in a couple years when Ben retires and be the next guy?
It's a good fit, too, because I don't know how many drives they wanted to give Mason Rudolph, but he was not very good. So you're thinking the backup job is up for grabs. Ben, maybe this is his last year. I know David's hoping it's his last year after that 4-interception game in the playoffs, but there's an opportunity for a guy who was drafted in the first round. So, yeah, he's a guy worth watching in the preseason.
I watched I exclusively last night watching Micah Parsons because
he's good.
Had Penei Sewell not dropped into the lap of the Lions at 7, Parsons was kind of my guy.
I liked him too.
So watching him run all over the field and making plays, that guy's going to be a player. Really, really liked him.
Dallas is one of those teams, too, where they've just taken best player like a year ago, CeeDee Lamb. He's going to be a breakout guy in a full year this year with Dak. Parsons, one of those guys. Well, they need help on defense, but they have a million linebackers. Who cares? We'll find a spot for him.
We got Jalen Smith. We got Van Der Esch. What doesn't matter. Let's get another one.
Just get him in there. He'll make a play.
Yeah.
And he did, right away. Picked up a fumble.
Yeah. I mean, look.
It fell on a fumble.
It fell on the ball. But the point is, he was in position to make a play. Had the running back held onto the ball.
Yeah. And it was impossible not to see him if you watched more than a couple minutes of preseason football.
Yeah. And kind of our first look at seeing professional players get to wear the numbers that they want to wear.
Yeah.
So seeing him wearing number 11, I'm like, that's not Danny White. That's clearly it's not Danny White. That's Micah Parsons.
Did you do a double take? Because I did
a little bit, but not too much. My take wasn't a double take. It was more of a smile. Like, that's cool. I like the number change for some of the guys. I guess they'll probably be subjective with it, but with that one, I didn't mind it. So what do you got coming up on the show today?
We're going to go through all the numbers of the new play. No. What we're going to get into at 3 o'clock is Calvin Johnson, and he's going to have his Hall of Fame speech this weekend, and just the expectation of him not bringing up the Detroit Lions, whether or not that sits well with people. I've got a spin I want to put on it, because I think if he's going to do that, he should go all the way and do it. So we'll do that at 3 o'clock. I know out of the shoot we want to get into Kirk Cousins and the situation where the onion has come to life. He'd rather play and practice and prepare in this plexiglass environment than get the shot and put himself in the position to be on the field for his teammates, let alone the whole contagious virus. Do you want to be available to play at the most important position on the field? Quarterback. You're at a detriment. Any team in the NFL whose quarterback is not vaccinated is at a detriment going into the season. Just talking about it from a sports standpoint.
Exactly. And you've got a coach that's been very vocal about it, so that's an interesting scenario they have there. All right, we got it coming up next. Jim Costa. Is Rico with you?
Rico's here, yep.
Rico is here as well, in for Mike Valenti. Coming up next year, 97 on the ticket. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Hey Detroit, it's Tanya Lalonde from Lalonde Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with exciting news. Our brand new facility in Imlay City is finally complete. We're all moved in and we're open to the public. One of the biggest benefits of building a new facility is extra inventory. And we now have more than enough Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams for everyone. Don't get me wrong, we still want your trade more than ever. And we'll give you up to 125% of Kelly Blue Book value for your trade-in. In fact, whatever you've been offered for your trade, we'll beat it. But your credit's not so good, but you still owe money on your trade, but you can't afford a large down payment? Lalonde Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram kicks those butts every day. So if you want the best car at the best price with the best experience, come see us today at the all-new Lalonde Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Imlay City, Michigan. Call 810-724-0444 or click LaLondeChrysler.com.
Last trade with purchase of select amounts. Negative trade equity financing and funds subject to lender approval.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. If you haven't refinanced your mortgage in 2021, you need to call Hall Financial right now to see if you qualify for our no appraisal 8-day close. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
In 1.4 miles, turn left onto West 14 Mile Road.
Tonight at Comerica Park is August 17th when the Tigers play the Angels. Special ticket packages include a $5 donation to provide colonoscopy screenings to those who can't get one. Details at 971theticket.com. WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. An Odyssey station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Training camp continues for the Lions at their facility in Allen Park. The Pats back on. They continue work toward their first exhibition game next Friday. Head coach Dan Campbell has been impressed with the leadership so far on his team. And when he joined the morning show right here on The Ticket, he was also impressed by his new quarterback, Jared Goff.
There's a presence about him. He's got this leadership ability. He's not awkward. I've been around some guys that are a little bit like, he's good, man. He understands how to pick up the tempo. And I love the fact that when things start to go, he doesn't get frazzled.
It'll be the Tigers versus Indians this weekend, with Detroit having won 4 of their last 6 series since the All-Star break. Cleveland, meanwhile, has lost 3 straight games, and they're falling in the AL Central standings, just a game and a half ahead of the Tigers for second place. Matt Manning will look to improve that 5.59 ERA tonight when he takes the field at Progressive Field. First pitch at 7:10, play-by-play on 97.1 The Ticket right here. The USA men's basketball team will take their shot at gold tonight in Tokyo, taking on France for the top of the podium. It would be their 4th straight tournament victory at the Olympics if they get it done. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
586 area code. They absolutely hate me. Y'all players got all the girls over here. I already know I'm not allowed out in that area.
At the next stop sign, turn left.
This is the phone numbers that pop up, and it's like, what did I ever do? All the bumping down low. Rico not welcome in the 586. Oh, you know what? That was the spanking. Unzip yourself. Lean forward.
At the stop sign, turn left onto West 14 Mile Road. Then turn right onto Inkster Road.
Mike's got the day off. You will be back Monday. Rico, I thought you made amends with the 586.
Well, I did, but every now and then they like to play that show open, that little, every top of the hour. That was,
At the light, turn right onto Inkster Road.
Amends, Jimmy, but I don't know. Every now and then the text messages come in that shows me that maybe I'm not. Some love me. Some absolutely adore me out there. Hamilton Chevrolet loves me. The rest, I don't.
In 3.8 miles, arrive at Lone Pine Road.
I want to start with the fact that the Onion has come to life. I'd like us to talk about Kirk Cousins, Michigan State's own. I don't know if you're claiming him today, but the comment that he'd rather be in a plexiglass box, take that level of precaution, as opposed to getting himself vaccinated and getting himself out there to play for his football team. Rico, I'm having a hard time understanding the leaps and the bounds that Kirk has found himself in to justify not getting vaccinated. Because it truly is as simple as this. The teams that don't have vaccinated players, specifically at that position, they're at a detriment going into the season. It's a problem waiting to happen where you're going to have to go without your quarterback in one of the biggest games of your season. You're playing with that game, that hand grenade with the pin pulled, if you don't get yourself taken care of and put your best foot forward going into the season.
Yeah, I don't. Cookies, I have no idea what he's trying to do here, because here's the thing. You're Kirk Cousins. You're already on you're holding on by a thread. Your coach has been vocal saying, guys, get this done. He had a quarterback room that wasn't able to practice. Cousins is not that great of a quarterback. And if you're not that great, you're not allowed to become a distraction in the NFL. They'll find ways to get rid of you. Point blank, he's not that good. He's not good enough to cause this type of controversy. He's not good enough to basically say, rather than get a shot and be responsible for the team, to be the quarterback, to be the leader that you want him to be, he'd rather go out and become David Blaine and just basically get suspended above Viking training camp in a plexiglass box. Hey, and a caller brought this up yesterday. Does he realize you still have to poke holes in that plexiglass box in order to breathe? Because if not, you'll suffocate. This is dumb. This tells me he's holding up to some things that I don't know. I would say maybe the apple doesn't fall far from the tree if you've seen any of the things that his father's had to say. But if you're Cousins, I think his days at Minnesota, Jimmy, they're limited. I don't see him making it past this camp. If he continues to go down this path, he's just not that good. And here's the thing. If he gets cut, who's going to pick him up? Who's first? If Kirk Cousins were vaccinated, maybe you can get the Broncos or somebody who really needs a quarterback to take a whiff on him. But now, do you really want to bring this sideshow? Remember, if you're a distraction, the league has no tolerance for you. Ray Rice was suspended for 2 weeks for beating his wife, for knocking her out in the elevator out cold. He was suspended for 2 weeks. But once the word got out and the media showed up, the league saw a distraction and they kicked Ray Rice out the league. But the NFL was perfectly okay with saying, Ray, you get 2 weeks. And I say that to say, Jimmy, Cousins isn't good enough to keep this going and remain a Viking.
Well, yeah, if you're his team, imagine if this was in our backyard. You got Lions training camp going on right now. And I mean, Jared Goff, I assume he's vaccinated. We haven't heard anything to the contrary. Most of the league is vaccinated. But could you imagine if your football team didn't have the QB vaccinated? What you're playing with is playing with fire, Rico, because if you get into the regular season, first of all, he's at greater risk of testing positive, getting the virus. He has to be in more stringent protocols, which means he will be tested more frequently. You're setting up a situation for your starting quarterback to miss games. And I just point blank, if you're a head football coach, that's the biggest thing for you. I want my quarterback ready on Sundays. I want to do everything I can to have my best players play on Sundays. So, I mean, we can get into distraction because I think, yeah, his stance certainly is polarizing. But I think just from a fundamental basic, hey, we want our best players playing football. He's the best quarterback on that roster, and he's making it harder for himself to play football this year because he wants to stay unvaccinated. And he says his choice is personal and private. Okay. All right, you want to keep your choice personal and private, but it impacts other people, so people have a right to ask you about it. Your availability is chronicled every single week in the NFL season, whether you're probable, questionable, doubtful. We want to know how your ankle's doing, your wrist's doing, your elbow's doing. We absolutely want to know if you're going to be available to play on Sundays, and that's in question for Kirk Cousins, and I think Zimmer has had enough of it.
No, you're right. It's personal and it's private when it's something that you're doing at home. If you want to tell me you're going to cook your steaks on aluminum foil, that's personal and private. But once you involve the rest of your teammates, it's not personal and it's not private because now you're responsible for 52 other people in that locker room, for the coaching staff, for the organization. Because, yeah, the NFL has made it quite clear. If you get popped during game week, you're not getting a game check. The opponent is not getting a game check, and your team is going to have to pay a fine, all because you researched. I mean, he joked. I don't know if he was even joking about the plexiglass, but Jimmy, the fact that you probably researched how to do this tells me you know how to do research. Well, have you talked to your team doctor? You talked to the NFL doctor? Well, no.
Nope.
Well, why not? Why not? That's what, if you talk to these people and they say, you know what, this is not a good idea for you, Mr. Cousins, or for any of the other people who don't want to take it, I'm okay with that. The world's okay with that. You have a medical condition that keeps you from taking this. Fine. Don't. But when you just say, nah, I don't know if I want to, or if you're like the golfer, what's his name?
Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take it because I think that other people who need it needs to take it. Hey, Bryson, they're throwing away vaccines, okay?
There's no shortage.
There is no shortage. I was joking with Dave. You can get one at the gas station if you fill up $40. They're literally handing these things out. They're free. Anybody who wants it. If you don't even want to take the 2-shotter, you can go and get the J&J shot. You can get the one-time deal. There's so many. The fact that you still have people spreading misinformation bothers me. If you don't want to get it, that's one thing. I don't want to get it. But don't spread misinformation. And if you're cousins, you better be prepared to deal with the consequences. For the My Freedoms crowd, yeah, it's your freedom. You don't have to do this. But don't come crying victim when your boss says, well, nice having you around, but we're going to go ahead and fire you because we're going to move forward in life, and we don't need any unvaccinated people around. So, good luck to him,
Rico.
Jimmy, I don't know if he's good enough to withstand this.
When people think you're making this up, there will be roster decisions made this month with that in mind. Availability, vaccination status. Can I count on you if you make this roster to be healthy, to be prepared, to be eligible to play on Sundays? So, I mean, I know people are like, Rico, he's the starting quarterback. He's not going anywhere.
Jimmy, here's the thing. Like it or not, we've all heard the hot crazy ratio. Okay? When you're dating, there's the hot crazy ratio. Normally, the hotter the person is, the more crazy you put up with. The less hot the person is, the less crazy you put up with. Same as in the NFL. If you are an all-pro Hall of Fame player, if you're Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay puts up with your antics. Why? Because you're an MVP. You've won a Super Bowl. They know the juice is worth the squeeze. But if you are a borderline quarterback who has a hard time winning big games, who throws more picks than touchdowns, guess what? I'm not putting up with your nonsense. You're not worth the squeeze. You're not worth the headache. So there's a possibility this may be your last year in Minnesota, and that's only if we can't find a decent substitute for you now. Because if we can, he's gone. But rest assured, with the first pick of the draft and next year, I'll bet you dollars to donuts, the Minnesota Vikings taking a quarterback.
In 1 mile, arrive at Long
You know
Pine
where
Road.
Zimmer stands on this. He's been very outspoken this week. You know that there are teammates of his that have to be frustrated by this because they've gone out and gotten vaccinated, not only to minimize the risk to their own health, but to minimize the risk of the health of their teammates, but also to make sure that they can play on Sundays. 248-539-9797. Kirk Cousins in his plexiglass box rather than getting vaccinated. David Blaine it out here. I do think this is one of those deals where, you know, you can make your own personal decision, but your decision impacts other people. If you're independently wealthy, you work from home, you don't come into contact with other people all that often, I suppose, all right, you're going to make your own decision. But when part of the requirement for you playing is going to be that you're available, that you don't test positive, well then, yeah, this is officially a problem. For everybody who wants to put, you know, their fingers between their ears and say, la, 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 this isn't real, this is going to impact games. If you watched the preseason game last night, first of all, hey, great, football's back. Those are backups. That's what your team will look like if you don't have your best players out there when the games actually count. 248-539-9797. It's 97.1.
New BetMGM customers can turn $1 into $100 when they bet on any Tigers game. Sign up for BetMGM using the app and the code RICO100. And if you bet $1, just $1 on any Tigers games, you'll get $100 in free bets, even if your wager is a strikeout. That means if you lose, you still win. That's the kind of teammate BetMGM is. And while you're there, you can discover the innovative parlay selection builders, the daily promotions, the boosted odds specials, and so much more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use code RICO100 to get $100 when you bet $1 on any Tigers games this season, regardless of your wager's outcome. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and the official gaming partner of the Detroit Tigers. New customer offer, paid in free bets. You must be 21 years or older. Michigan only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons.
How'd you like to never lose your money again due to market risk? Join Joe Upplager for the Save Money and Income radio show right here on The Ticket, Sunday mornings from 7 to 8.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate online at carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting real estate donations.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. If you haven't refinanced your mortgage in 2021, you need to call Hall Financial right now to see if you qualify for our no appraisal 8-day close. Call 248-308-5000 or check us out online at callhallfirst.com. You could be saving hundreds of dollars a month by calling Hall Financial today. That's 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Callhallfirst.com.
Hall Financial, NMLS ID 1467435. Equal housing lender.
97.1 The Ticket and Beaumont's Student Heart Check program provides a healthy heart check for students whose families might not otherwise be able to afford it. Go to 971theticket.com, search Student Heart Check, and help make a difference in our community.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Dave single from Wendy's made with fresh, never frozen beef has the power to blow your mind. But now that the Dave single is buy one, get one for $1, as well as the spicy or classic chicken sandwich and the spicy or crispy 10-piece nuggets, Wendy's BOGO for $1 deal is gonna blow your mind and your speakers. Get these faves. BOGO $1 only at Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with combo or any other offer.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Creamy nut butter makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get 2 great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
Let your voice be heard. Call the D Las Vegas 97.1 The Ticket studio line at 248-539-9797. The D Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Vegas. Now, text or call the ticket using the same number. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
At the next light, turn right. At the light, turn right onto West Long Lake Road.
Having a hard time with this one, trying to make sense of it. You've got a starting quarterback in the NFL who will not get vaccinated. Publicly lets you know he won't get vaccinated, but says he'll follow up protocols. He even wants a plexiglass box if that's what it'll take. He just won't get vaccinated. His name's Kirk Cousins. And I just, Rico, you can say personal and private. It seems more like crazy and conspiratorial if you're not going to give people an idea of what's going on here, because you won't meet with the doctors for your team. You won't meet with the doctors with the league. You know, I got Kirk Cousins apparently doing his own experiments and laboratory tests and getting to the bottom of this on his own. Yeah, sorry, I don't buy that either. I think whether you turn this into a pro or anti-vaccine bit, the reality is the NFL has rules in place. This is part of employment. This is going to be a thing for people more and more. You're going to have to be vaccinated to get that job, to go into the office. That's part of the NFL's policy. If you're not vaccinated, you'll be tested more frequently, when you test positive, which you are at greater risk of, you will then have to sit longer, and you're going to miss games. For anybody rushing to Kirk Cousins' defense, I don't know how you'd feel if it was your team. I know this is odds. Minnesota, it's another team, his choice. If it's your quarterback in a big game and he can't play because he made a selfish decision, his teammates, a majority of them are vaccinated, but he isn't, and now he has to sit out for that game, I would be livid as a teammate. His coach is already upset, and if you're a fan, you got to go, how ridiculous is this? The Onion has come to real life when you have a guy saying, I'd rather be in a plexiglass box, David Blaney it up, as opposed to getting vaccinated. 248-539-9797.
Yeah, I don't understand it. And I think Cousins is going to find out the business side of the NFL real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because this is a team sport. If anything happens, which has already happened with the Vikings, you're going to be the first person that people are going to look at. Your coach is already kind of ticked off with you. You're the leader. You're the quarterback. You're supposed to be leading this team, and instead, you're coming up with your own experiments of how you're going to handle this. You're jumping through all of these hurdles to get the shot and move on. And once again, it's kind of like Taylor Decker. I don't need to know your personal feelings. I need to know what happened. Did you get the shot? Yeah. Okay.
That's good enough for me.
Don't need to know anything else. Mike was like, well, he needs to come public. Well, I just need to get the shot. Making people go public, that's when you just want to be right. That's when you just want to hear them say, okay, you were right and I was wrong. I don't need that. If you're Cousins, you want to go out there and you want to try to do this, because if not, you're going to get released. You just don't get to go 25-14 and 25-14 and 1 with the Minnesota Vikings and expect everybody to be okay with you.
Well, Enrico, think about it. Before he made this decision, obviously, to go unvaccinated into training camp and into the season, Aaron Rodgers wasn't in camp with Green Bay. This division was wide open for grabs, and he really put them in a bad spot by not getting himself in the best position to compete this season. And that includes minimizing the risk of COVID. I want to get to the phones, 248-539-9797. We got David.
Wait, hold on, Jimmy.
Oh, no. What do you got?
Let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
He's 25, 21, and 1.
Yeah, just a tick above 500. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to do this. Okay, let's hit the phone.
Dave in Clinton Township. Dave, we're making sense of it. You're on 97.1.
Hey, so right out of the gate, I have all your answers.
At the light, turn left onto Middlebelt Road.
It's not, I don't support or not support him. I just happen to have, I think, some insider information. Enrico, you should know this with your Michigan State history. Kirk Cousins is an extremely religious person, and his family is extremely religious. There's no secret to that. I mean, in the Michigan State, he wanted to be a pastor. So he is extremely religious. I firmly believe he's doing this on religious grounds, and he is not going to get vaccinated. In fact, I'm here to say he will retire before he gets vaccinated. He will not get vaccinated.
David, here's the thing, and I appreciate that, because I do know of Cousins' religious background. He led the Bible study for the team and all of that. But this is what angers me. Because when Cousins, or you see all these other ministers and groups do this, and David, step in here if I'm out of line, you're the resident pastor of the show. It makes other Christians look like we're all crazy. It makes us look like, oh, you guys are all out in left field. And it's like, whoa. That's not how I roll. If we want to go down that road, Dave, everybody's given free will. If you believe in God, you're given free will. If you choose to do something, that's on you. It's not what you were supposed to do. Going all the way back to Adam and Eve. Hey, you see all this stuff? You can eat everything. You see that one tree? Don't eat it. If you eat it, you're going to die. Everything else, you're good. What they decide to do? They ate the tree, and we have the world as it is today. So if you're going to use religion, use it the right way. Don't use it and pick and choose the Bible verses here and there, because it makes everybody who does believe in God, it makes us all look crazy. David, was that a fair statement?
That was very fair. I love it.
Because I'm not
1.8 miles, turn right
religious,
onto Orchard
but I
Lake
would
Road.
look at it and say, is there a Bible verse, David, that says don't get vaccinated?
No.
Is there anything in your reading of the scripture that says vaccine is bad? Because I look at you and you're a man of faith, and I don't think you're any less of a man of faith because you got vaccinated.
No. So the crazy thing is there were people out there that will think that.
But no, there is no scripture out there that says I can't take this or shouldn't take this or whatever.
And Jimmy, how about this? I don't think there's any religion that's telling people you can't do this. Don't take it. Every major religion is like, hey, if this is going to keep you alive, do what you got to do.
Let's go to Frank on a cell. Frank, you're on 97.1.
Hey, what's up, guys? Love the show, man. So, the NBA Finals, Chris Paul, he was vaccinated and still had to sit out 2 games. So, can you explain to me the point of getting vaccinated? Also, if the protocols work and Kirk Cousins follows them all, then what will be the issue? That's all I want to know.
Okay, well, Frank, let me help you out. Just because you got vaccinated does not mean you can't catch it. It means that if
Exactly, so what is the point of getting the
Minimizes
vaccine?
it, Frank. It minimize, Frank. You have a less chance of getting
No less chance of having severe symptoms. Not a less chance of
You
getting
don't want
it.
those chances of less severe symptoms?
Of getting, yes, you're...
So here's the deal. You're getting too comfortable.
Now you got way comfortable. Frank was flying my freedom's flag. So, okay. Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense to me. If it's going to help prevent the most severe symptoms, why do you not take it? Why do you want to have the worst symptoms ever?
Okay, for those who are sitting in the back and are taking notes with a Crayola crayon, let me help you out here. If you get vaccinated, it does not prevent you from having the COVID, of catching it. But if you catch it, you are less likely to go through a ventilator and you're less likely to be put into a hospital. If you don't get it, you have a higher chance of getting it and possibly spread it to more people. So therefore, leagues are saying, let's minimize this as much as we can. And in order to do that, we need everybody vaccinated so that we can eventually get this thing to go away. Going by what Frank wants to do, we'll just willy-nilly go out there like it's the Wild Wild West, and if you get it, you get it.
Rico,
but you toughen up.
It was a total gotcha moment, right? He's waiting for you to say, well, if you could still get it. He was waiting for that gotcha moment. And here's the deal. If it's not a silver bullet, then he's not going to take it. Like, there's no gray area, no area in the middle. Okay, dude, sweet.
No. You got Frank is never going to take it. Frank is in the My Freedom class. My freedoms. Can't tell me what to do. My freedom.
And Rico, here's the deal. I support that you shouldn't mandate it, but I tell you, if you're a business, a private business, and you want people who are vaccinated inside your doors, that's your right as a business. So here's the thing. No one's forcing you to get the vaccine, but society is going to move in a direction where if you're not vaccinated, we don't want you in here. We don't want you participating. And that's what the NFL is doing. They can't force it on the players because of the NFLPA. What they can do is make it so you have a bunch of hoops to jump through and you're more likely to miss time. And most of the players have said, you know what? It's really not worth it. I'm going to get vaccinated. Over 90% of the NFL is vaccinated. It's just a few stubborn, and Kirk's one of them, and at one of the most important positions.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you because he's just doing this, and I guess he's doing this for religious reasons.
Maybe
I don't
he hasn't said it.
Why. He hasn't, but my goodness, if you could just listen to what his father's saying. And hey, he's going to find out very quickly. This league, it ain't about media. You can't be mediocre and take a stance. You can't be ho-hum and take a stance. You don't believe me? Hey, where's Colin Kaepernick at? Oops. Yeah, the league doesn't tolerate that. They're going to move on without you, Kirk.
248-539-9797. We got Dean in Milford. Dean, you're on 97.1.
So, I want to address a couple of things, and a lot of the reasons why people will call in and they'll start screaming and stuff is because Rico's being arrogant and pompous about it. At the end of the day, when it comes to the religion stuff, because some of the vaccines have things from aborted fetuses, so therefore when it's religious and being against abortion, they don't want to use something that has fetal membranes and stuff in it. So that would be that route. But the other thing that you're looking at as well is that if you can still catch it, and you can still spread it when you have the vaccine, and the only thing it does is it prevents it from being worse for you as an individual. Why do you care what I choose to do with my body? if I choose to take the risk of being with something that has a 98% survival rate, and okay, I might get a little more sick because I don't have the vaccine, why does it matter to you? Because if you got your little shot, then you're safe.
Dean, here's the thing. Guess what? I'm not being pompous and arrogant. I don't, Dean, I love you. Dean, we can do this right, but we can do this mild. We can just get rid of it. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Now.
Okay, go.
Okay? Because you just wanted to throw the name calling out there. I'm going to be here for 4 hours. You're going to probably be here for another 40 seconds. So, let me give you your 40 seconds worth of it. Here's the thing. You're right. You don't have to get it. But if you or anybody else chooses not to get it, and the world says, well, we can't use you, you're fired, don't come crawling back saying, well, you're treating me unfairly. Because your right to not get it is okay. But for a guy like Cousins, if he gets cut from the league, don't sit here and cry, well, the league doesn't like me. The league is simply saying, dude, you had your shot, you had your chance, you chose to go down that road, live with the circumstances. For me, I don't care what you do, Dean. Dean, I don't care what you do. If you don't want to get the shot, fine. You do your thing. And if something happens, I hope not, hey, that's on you, that's on your family. I got nothing to do with that. So,
let me ask you a question. Do you get the flu shot every year?
I do not.
Why not? Because if you don't get the flu shot, then you have a higher likelihood of getting a more terrible, worse version of the flu.
Are we really still doing these flu and COVID comparisons 18, 19 months into this pandemic? It's no different than the flu.
These 40 seconds are up. I'm done with you. Please hang on.
No, I already did, Rico. I just don't get these people. We're still doing flu is COVID, COVID's the flu. I mean, I would hope we would get past some of this stuff.
We can't.
I know we can't.
Honestly, if you get it, please do me a favor. Dean, if you get COVID, and I hope you don't, but if you get it, don't waste everybody's time. Don't go to a hospital. Do whatever you got to do at home. Watch Facebook. Get your remedy from that. Don't go to the people who are actually trying to help out those who are sick because you didn't think it was real. You didn't think it was a big deal. So, yes, Dean, I'm telling you. You can say I'm being pompous. You can say I'm being arrogant. Hey, Dean, hey, don't give a damn. Don't go to the hospital. Don't go to the doctors. Don't go see nurses. Don't do anything. Stay your ass at home. Did I get that clear enough to Dean and everybody out there? I don't care. Period. Jeez.
97.1.
We asked people in Michigan why they got the COVID-19 vaccine.
Because I am 24 weeks pregnant and we wanted to protect our baby boy.
Get vaccinated to protect my family, protect my friends, and help our community.
Because
A double quarter pounder with cheese with just ketchup and onion and a large Coke. That's it.
Okay,
Thanks.